Chris here with Hooks and Hammocks. One of the things Telly and I get asked a lot is how we rig and how we catch carp. So today I figured I need to make some new carp rigs anyway. I'm going to show you how I make my rigs, what we use, where we get it, things like that. And then we'll go carp fishing. I'll show you how we make our bait and hopefully we'll catch some carp. If you're seeing this video, we caught carp. Why carp fishing? Because it's fun. They fight like no other. It's a ton of fun, and they make great catfish bait. Whether you're fishing for channel cats, blue cats, flatheads, cut carp is a fantastic bait. Just make sure you harvest responsibly. I'm going to show you how we make our rig. I'm going to show you what we use, where we get it. That way you have some places to go to, and maybe you can start doing this on your own. It's super simple. It's not expensive, and we catch tons of carp. So let's start out with the hooks. These hooks are Gamakatsu G Carp Specialist R. This particular pack is a size 4. These are the same hook, but they're a size 6. And the way this works is the smaller the number, so the size 4, are larger than the size 6, and not by much. It is super hard to tell just by looking inside the package, but the size 6 is slightly smaller than the size 4. I ordered them both because last time I ordered them I couldn't remember if I got 6s or 4s. Pretty sure I got the 4s. The 4s are what I've been using. 6s will work just fine. We've got them, we're going to use them. All of our rigs today I'm going to use the size 4 because I already have them open in my box. What else do we need? This is our pack bait cages. Let me get one out here. Could have been a little more prepared, but we'll get one out so you can see it. These we got off of Amazon. You can see the sticker. It's blank. I don't know what the name of them are or anything like that. I'll try to put something right here in the video so that you can see where we got them, what they're called, what they look like. But that's it right there. It's a little bit of weight to them. I'd say maybe an ounce, a little more maybe. Not real heavy. There's a hole all the way through it where you run your line. The cage and the spring, that's where you pack your pack bait in. You'll see that when we actually get out on the lake and start fishing. The other thing you're going to need is a rod. This one is a Whisker Seeker Catfish and Carp Edition. These are great carp rods. I love these rods for carp fishing. You don't have to have this rod. An ugly stick, an old bass rod, anything that can handle. I mean, some of these carp get really big. I mean, 30, 40 pounds plus. So whatever you're using, you want it to be able to handle the carp, just in case you do catch one of those giants. Just happen to have a Bass Pro Shop bait casting reel on these. Most people carp fishing use open face reels or spinning reels. It doesn't matter. Use what you have. Most people already have some stuff laying around in the garage. Pretty sure we've got this spooled up with 20-pound main line. Again, got to be able to handle the big boys. I'm going to make my leader lines with the same thing. This is just Trilene Big Game 20-pound. This is what I'm going to use for my leader lines. Now let me get in here and show you how we're going to tie these rigs. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull off some line. I'm going to give myself more than enough line than I need. I'm going to start tying on my hook and making my leader. So let me cut some of this off. So you can see these hooks. This is one of these Gamakatsu hooks right here. They're really nice hooks. They're super, super sharp. They've been working great for me. The way I'm going to tie this leader, so I'm actually going to use a no-knot snell on this hook. And I don't think that there's a, let me put my glasses on so I can see. Most people use these no-knot snells for the circle hooks. I've been using them on my carp rigs. They work just fine. So the way you do that, you go through the front of the hook, give yourself some leader line. I pinch that right down there up against the hook, and then I start wrapping. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be more than enough wraps. Then you take the other end of your leader line and you go through the back of the hook. So you went through the front, you wrapped it, now you're coming through the back. Just make sure that doesn't twist up all around your hook. And you just pull it through there. Once you've got it through, you're just gonna pull it tight. That is a no knot snell. If you push this line back through, it can come undone. But once it's on here and you've put some tension on it, it's not coming undone. This is how we tie our hooks on catfishing. I've never had one come undone. I have all the faith in the world in it. Just pull it tight. It's a little bit harder with these tiny hooks, but you can do it. I have faith in you. We're gonna trim off our tag end, only because I just don't like that much line sticking out down there. Trim our tag end off. And now the next thing we're gonna do with our leader is we're gonna tie on a swivel. Now I like my leader line to be a little bit on the short side for carp. So that right there is plenty long enough. It might even actually be a little bit too long, but we're gonna go with it. We'll see how it ends up. So I'm gonna cut some of this extra line off. We'll lay that line right there just in case we might need it for something later. We're gonna tie a swivel on. Now, swivels. Any swivel will do as long as it's rated for more than 20 pounds, because you're using 20-pound line, you got drag on your reel, you don't need a whole lot. So I'm going to tie this swivel onto this short little leader. Use your favorite fishing knot, however you want to do it. We're not going to get too in-depth in knots today. I'm just showing you how I rig stuff. Told you those hooks were sharp. Just hooked myself. All right. Ow! Did it again. All right, that is our leader line. There's the swivel. There's the hook. It's probably 6 to 8 inches. That's what she said. Trim our tag line off. Our leader is done. We're going to take this extra piece of line that we cut off earlier, and I'm going to tie it to our leader, our barrel swivel, the other end of it. Cut off our tag. Now, we're going to run the end that doesn't have the swivel through our bait holder cage. Run it all the way through. Now you can start to see that swivel is going to stop the cage from going all the way to our hook. Just like that. Now I want another swivel above this so that it can only move so much. I don't want this running up and down my main line. I want to trap it in here. So we're going to get another swivel. We're going to pull this swivel down to about where I want it. I don't want that thing to move a whole lot. I'd say that's probably another 4 or 5 inches worth of line. So this can move up and down a little bit now. That's what I want. So I've got way too much line here to tie a knot, so I'm going to cut some of that off. And then we're going to tie another knot. We're going to cut our tag end off. And that right there is the complete rig. We have a swivel. We have a swivel with a very short line in it. This is our feeder cage. This is where we're going to put our bait. To another swivel. To our hook. We'll pack our bait. We'll pack our bait into this cage. We'll put 2, 3, 4 kernels of corn on that hook. We'll throw that out. And that's how we catch carp. So we're going to tie this on our main line. So we've got our main line right here. Got the swivel. We've got our bait cage. Another swivel. and our hook. That right there is the complete carp rig. Now I have 2 more rods I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna bore you with doing them. I'm gonna do them the same way. I'm gonna get those rods done, and then we're going fishing. All right, so we're here at the lake. I told you I'd show you how I make my pack bait. First thing you need is a 1-gallon freezer bag. What we have here are 2 cans of plain panko breadcrumbs, 2 cans of whole kernel corn, and 2 boxes or 1 family size box of strawberry jello. Whatever flavor you like, I'm sure it all works. It just adds scent. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the breadcrumbs. Open that. Dump it in the bag. Oh, don't miss the bag like I just did. Get the next can of panko breadcrumbs. Dump it in the bag. Open up your box of jello. Open that up. And can you guess what's next? Dump it in the bag. Now at this point, I like to close it up and mix up my dry ingredients a little bit. That's enough. Now, we're gonna open a can of corn. Now, this is the only tricky part of the whole recipe. The first can of corn, you're gonna dump it in there, juice and all. Just like that. Now we have an empty can. We're going to drain the juice from this can into the empty can. Doesn't have to be perfect. As soon as it looks like it's stopping, that's good enough. Now we have juice just in case our mixture's too dry. So we're going to dump the rest of this corn into this bag. Close it and start mixing. I normally like to mix this up a couple hours before I go fishing, because after it's set for a little while, keep it cool. But after it's set for a little while, it seems to pack together a little bit better. So this juice I'm going to save as the day goes on, just in case I need a little more juice. Normally, the way I just showed you how to mix it, that's all you have to do, and it works just fine. So now that we've got it all mixed up pretty good, I'm going to open this up just a little bit so I can get some air, and you'll see if I let the air out of that, it's packing. It's trying to pack together, and that's what we want. So we're going to give it just a little bit more of a mix. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it in my cooler that I brought for drinks. I'm going to clean up my mess, get our rod holders in the ground, everything ready to go, and then we're going to start fishing. Now, one thing I forgot to mention: 2 cans of panko, 2 cans of corn, 1 big box of jello, or 2 small boxes of jello. All together, this was under $8. And that bait that I just made, that bag of bait, is enough for me to fish all day using 3 rods. So, I mean, how many other baits can you go buy for less than $8 to catch big fish, have a lot of fun, and maybe even save up on some bait? All right, so I said I was going to show you everything, and I'm going to show you everything that I do, that when Telly's with me, we both do. So the next thing we're going to do is get our rod holders set up. These are our rod holders. All it is a piece of rebar, a piece of PVC, and 2 hose clamps holding them together. I made these about 3.5 or 4 years ago. I've beat on them with a hammer every single time I use them, and they're still perfectly fine. They've held up to giant catfish in Virginia and the carp we fish for here. Don't need anything fancy. A lot of people have stuff like this laying around in their garage. It's easy to make, doesn't cost much money. Let's get these in the ground. Now the only thing we got left to do is put some bait on and get it in the water. All right, now I'm going to show you how we put this pack bait on our rig. Okay, so you've already seen our rigs. We showed you how we did those at home. We've got the main line down to the swivel. We've got a short leader with our cage on it right there, and then a short leader down to our hook. All we're going to do is take this cage, we're going to go inside this bag, and we're going to start packing it full of our pack bait. There's no science to it, just I put some in my right hand, squeeze it in there, I put some in my left hand, sandwich it together, and just start moving it around and packing it in there. All you're trying to do is get it packed in good enough that when you cast it, it stays. Then we're going to take our hook, and I'm going to start threading on a few kernels of corn. There's one. There's two. How many you put on there is up to you. I do 3 or 4, sometimes less, sometimes more. Hey, that rhymed. I'm the poet and didn't know it. But anyway, when we're done, right there it is. Our pack bait, our corn, that's what the... So when we throw this out, that's going to hit the water, it's going to sink. This is going to break apart in the water. It's going to create some chum because of the breadcrumbs and jello, and the corn's going to lay around, and those carp are going to find it, and they're going to eat it, and eventually they're going to suck up these kernels of corn that have your hook in it, and that's when you got them. So let's get our next 3 rods ready and get casted out. Kind of lob them. Another very important thing when you're carp fishing, always check your drag. You want a loose drag. If that drag is really tight, when that carp hooks up and starts fighting, their mouths are really soft. Very easy to pull that hook out of there. So when you're fighting these carp, keep a loose drag. Just enough drag to get the fish in. Let it run, let it pull some drag. Fight the fish so you don't rip that hook out of its mouth. There's one other thing I wanted to show you guys about this pack bait. And what makes it so good is, let's say you're out on a fishing trip. You get out there, you're out there all day, and then you realize, man, I'm hungry, and I forgot to bring some food. Well, this is breadcrumbs, jello, and corn. That's all that it is. And it actually tastes good. So if you get hungry, you can eat your bait. So one other thing, when you're fishing for carp using this type of pack bait with the corn in it, carp love it, channel cats love it, and turtles love it. We don't want any turtles, but it happens. So I was on my way to the lake today, and I got to thinking, man, it sure would be nice to have a fishing partner. So I called Stacy from Bank Fishing Adventures, and he was all in. He was like, yeah, let's go carp fishing. So I'm going to put his channel link in the description. It's Bank Fishing Adventures. I'll put it in the description. Make sure you go check him out. So carp fishing is a waiting game. You got to, we're in a lake. There's no current. What scent we do have out there, it's not traveling all the way across this lake. You're waiting for those fish to come by and pick up that scent and hone in on it, and then they start finding the breadcrumbs and the corn, and they start eating all that. You're waiting for them to find those kernels of corn that have your hook in it. So you're going to see bumps and stuff like that that don't result in a hookup, because they might be eating that big ball of pack bait you threw out there, and it's just enough tension and stuff on your line to make your rod move. So be patient, give it time. I usually always say, normally I'm by myself, I only got 3 rods. It's all we're allowed to use here in Indiana. That first hour is just a wait. I don't do anything. I know there's bait out there. I'm waiting for the fish to find it. So be patient. Slack line. There he is. Fish on. That took about an hour to get this first fish hooked up. Holy cow, look at him go. All right, we got him. Sorry we didn't get the whole fight on film or anything, but he took off running real hard that way and I had to go. We didn't have time to turn the camera. Or a quillback sucker, kind of.
Looks more like a quillback.
It does look like a quillback, doesn't it?
Yep.
So here we go. We're thinking this might actually be like a quillback sucker. You see that? See that there? You guys can tell me in the comments. I think that might be a quillback sucker. There he is. He's going home with us. He's gonna be my new pet in the pool pond. All right, so there's one other aspect. I said I was gonna show you everything we do, and I'm gonna show you everything. This is how I keep these carp home alive before I put them in our pool pond or I put them in the freezer. This is just a cooler that we've had for a long time. This is a rechargeable aerator that I got off Amazon. I put a little piece of hose clamp. I screwed it into the lid so I can just hook that into that hose clamp. Just like that. So when if the hose goes over here, goes into the corner, I drilled a hole. That way I can open this lid and that aerator doesn't fall off. And then this is what it looks like down inside it. And that's that. I'm pretty sure it's a quillback sucker. But you guys let us know in the comments what you think it is. But that's how I get them home alive. It's raining. It's raining a lot. So we're in the truck. Stacy had to get out in the rain and got fish on. Show you Stacy's carp. There it is. That's just about the limit I like to keep them. Oh, you got your line. You got your line.
Slimy sucker.
I stick my thumb down their throat. And,
Do you?
yep.
Slimy suckers. Here we go, guys. This rig catches some fish.
Yes, it does. So we were reeling everything in, rebaiting, checking our corn after that rainstorm. I was reeling this one in, and I told you, the turtles like them. All right, so it's been about an hour since the rain quit. It's hot. We've had about enough, at least I have. I don't know if Stacy's gonna stick around, but I'm gonna head home. I want to get these carp home, make sure they're good and healthy and alive. Get them in my pool pond / bait tank, and so you guys can see that it's pretty simple the way we set up for carp. It's cheap. Well, let's say it's inexpensive. Using the rods you probably already got laying around. Buy the bait cages on Amazon. I'm not going to quote prices because I'll probably be wrong, but they're cheap. I think you buy a pack of 10 of them. Pretty sure it's under 10 bucks, but don't quote me on that. The hooks are probably the most expensive thing, and they're not even expensive. You don't even have to have those carp hooks. You can go to Walmart, buy hooks that are approximately that same size, and they'll do the same thing. I just prefer to use those carp hooks. Most people don't want to keep their carp alive like I do, so you don't have to do the cooler thing unless you want to. But anyway, we're going to make this the end of the video. I want to thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It helps the channel tremendously. Hit that thumbs up, and don't forget, in the comment section, let me know, was that a quillback sucker? We'll see you on the next one.